Welcome to Channel Today in History. In today's video we will talk about the day, August 3, 1882, restrictive immigration law in the United States. In 1868, the U.S. government signed a treaty with China on the import of labor, which spurred the massive arrival of Chinese workers. They fled the Great Famine unleashed in the Canton region in those years and came, attracted by the high labor supply that followed the discovery of gold in California in 1848. Between 1852 and 1875, the reaction against the Chinese was enormous, although it was clear that they were needed, particularly in California, where the state government demanded that their entry be restricted or prevented. Because of this, the federal government decided to impose a restrictive migration policy. On August 3, 1882, Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, which was intended to prohibit the admission of further Chinese immigrants for a few years. It was endorsed several times until it became permanent, and was only revoked in World War II, when the United States and China allied themselves in the fight against Japan. The purpose of the 1882 law was not to stop all foreigners from entering the United States, but avoid the entry of people of ethnic origin other than the country's founders. Passing the law gave way to widespread hostility not only against the Chinese, but also against immigrants of Latin American origin. The skin color served to differentiate the newcomers and to increase the racism that was already practiced against African Americans, especially if the workers were poor, since their employers paid lower wages than those they paid to those of origin. Saxon and offered undignified working conditions. Between 1882 and 1917, special taxes were approved for immigrants, which were applied when they arrived, and the list of unwanted foreigners was expanded: lunatics, mentally retarded, epileptics, beggars, anarchists, prostitutes, gossips, illiterates, people likely to become a public burden, and people who had certain diseases. Regrettably, a good part of these exclusion categories of the excluded still prevail in the American immigration policy. In the period mentioned, a tax of 50 cents was even levied for the right of inspection on foreigners entering the United States. The purpose of the inspection was not to miss people who were classified within the list of those considered undesirable. Did you like the video? In the description you will find the blog link with the full article. Give an incentive by subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. Hugs. Until the next.